Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Friday, September 9th, 2022 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I am responsible for my lessons. And today we have Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Libra, the sign of relationships. So I'm going to dig into that. But I do feel like there are some overall relationship lessons that are coming up between Mercury going retrograde in the sign of Libra and the fact that Mars is now in its shadow period in the sign of Gemini, preparing for its retrograde. Now, Mars, not a planet of relationships, but it's a planet of young energy, which is a part of all of us, right? We all have some balance or some semblance of yin and yang energies within ourselves. And with yang, or Mars going retrograde, with yang going retrograde, anytime Venus or Mars goes retrograde, I really see it reflected in relationships. So we're going to have a little series of relationship energies, moving through lessons, and that is the key. You know, John and I were just talking, he's like, I think that I understand my lessons, from the accident. And all these things bubble up inside me. But truly, he has to come to his understanding of what happened. Just as we, in and of any of our things, need to come to our own personal understanding. And it's not to say we can't get outside sourced information, but we need to really source within ourselves too, really listen and hear what's going on for ourselves. And recognize that we are the ones responsible for our lessons. Again, it can be so easy to see, oh, that's what that person's doing wrong, or where they're out of alignment, or whatever. So easy, right? We all can go to that place. And yet, coming back to ourselves, all of us are here learning lessons right now. And so it all comes back to us. And so that is a major thing to take with you as we begin this Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury will not go retrograde until officially 8:38 p.m. Pacific time. Oof, I've got a Mahalo here with me. Say hi. Scratching up my legs as he's trying to get comfortable. Kitty therapy. So officially it doesn't go retrograde till 8:38 p.m., right? But we've been in these lessons. We've already had one pass of Mercury going into Libra up to almost 9 degrees, where it's retrograding 8 degrees, basically, late 8 degrees. And now we go through the second pass of the lessons. And so I always feel like one of the biggest Libra lessons is the lesson of self, which is funny because Libra's polar partner, Libra's opposition is Aries, which is about the self. And so how do we get into balance with Libra energy? We come to connection with and through ourselves. Finding harmony within yourself, recognizing where you try to outsource that harmony by fixing other people's lessons, by fixing other people's problems, right? So this is a call back to self to recognize these layers as they are coming through. Now, of course, Mercury retrograde will come with the usual communication shenanigans, technology snafus, all of that, that's always part of it. I think that's the Mercury mischief in it. The truest value is in recognizing where relationships are reflecting your lessons for you at this time. And if you are paying attention, then this is a great jumpstart to the Mars retrograde, which will happen late October. So Mercury will be retrograde until October 2nd. Mars will go retrograde, October 25th, I believe. So we're going to have a little window in there, but here come the lessons. All right. So, if there's anything else for this Mercury retrograde to say, Mercury will retrograde back into Virgo. And I think when Mercury goes back into Virgo, we'll have some different themes to look at, but there's definitely opportunity for healing our mind with Mercury retrograding back into Virgo, opportunity for retrograding any perfectionist issues, any issues that we have in relationships. Now, while some are serious and need appropriate action, sometimes it's our idea of perfect and not giving things the time that they need for their own healing, for their own shift, that can get in the way. But we'll visit that more when Mercury does retrograde back into Virgo, which will be right after the sun moves into Libra. So, more relationship lessons. Besides this, we are also building to a full moon. We have a full moon, let's see, 2:59 a.m. Pacific time. I actually am going to do a scope for that, so be prepared for that. But that full moon, as we're digging into this retrograde, this full moon is bringing up emotional energy that needs to be moved through, look at. It's a very karmic full moon. It's very interesting that the Queen passed right in alignment with this incoming full moon. Very interesting chart. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in. I would do that on my Patreon group, I think. Although I was speaking with a friend about going live, talking about the Queen's transits. I want to give it a little space, I think. But it's an interesting subject. You know, what causes somebody who has been a big figure to relinquish the throne, right? Interesting. Right. So besides this Mercury retrograde, like I said, building to a full moon, powerful energy, feeling the feels. The moon in Pisces is connecting to Venus, making an opposition with Venus. So bringing up some more relational energies. With Venus in Virgo, see where you can hold space for healing unfolding. Whatever these things are coming up, you may see with this Pisces full moon, repeating patterns coming up. I would encourage all of you, not to escape, but offer your presence. That's part of that Venus and Virgo energy. Can you stand in presence? Can you sit in the entirety of the feeling? And sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, and that's okay too. But do your best to at least give yourself a little time in that, because a lot of times when we actually do, this is a place beyond the stories. Because when we're in our stories, we're not necessarily in the presence. When we actually do, a lot of times, we can find our breath and move through the energy. Speaking of Venus, Venus is also in a connection to Jupiter. So we had the Sun and Chiron in there in conjunct. Now we have Venus and Jupiter in the inconjunct. The perfectionism versus the I am energy, right? The perfectionism of Virgo, again, the critical nature of Virgo versus who you are. Can you keep choosing you despite the discomfort of not showing up perfectly? Thank you. Dings on my phone. Our last transit of the day, besides the Mercury retrograde, is the moon in Pisces squaring Mars. It's some uncomfortable energies today, I will say that. Building full moon, squaring Mars energy. You know, Mars in Gemini likes to keep itself busy. Anything in Gemini likes to keep itself busy. And that might actually be the escapism that you have to be aware of. That might be the thing that's stopping you from being present and listening. Mars in Gemini is actually encouraging you to listen because, wow, you can get so much insight from this incoming full moon. But again, that presence is going to be needed. Taking a little time to meditate can also be super powerful. I have the inner voice. Today might be the inner voice versus the shoulds. The inner voice being like, breathe, and the shoulds being like, you have all the stuff that you need to do. Get busy, right? So watch for that in and through this. I also have the Eye of the Tiger card in reverse, and what I'm feeling with Eye of the Tiger in reverse is like, as much as you can, maybe don't have an agenda for this. Let yourself be present in what is. That's part of Virgo, bringing forth the presence, the willingness to be. Virgo can get sucked into the doing, but when you can give yourself the willingness, the presence of being, holy healing, Batman. Okay. Speaking of relationships, with this Mercury retrograde, I do have the Lovers card in reverse. I do think that there's going to be relational situations, but use it as a mirror for understanding yourself. The final card I have is moment to moment in reverse of this, or in reverse right next to the Lovers. I don't think this is going to be a moment to moment. In fact, it's probably already up. So look at your relationships. What is challenging you right now? Put it up as a mirror for yourself, for your own unwinding, for your own healing. What is my lesson? If you keep coming back to that, oh my goodness, this retrograde is going to be such a beautiful shift for you. So, leaving that here for today. You can book a reading with me. Email me, mimiclark@gmail.com. Besides that, the better it gets, the better it gets. There's more than enough love in the world for you. You have the power, and honor your values. Namaste.